Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the Two Men and a Mic podcast. Here as always, I'm your host, Kyle Hodis, here with my good friend and co-host, Joshua Fisher. Josh, how are we doing today?
I'm good. I'm excited for the podcast, fired up on some Celsius.
Absolutely.
By the way, this podcast is not sponsored by Celsius.
Not yet.
Wish we were.
Yeah.
So-
Celsius, if you listen to this, if someone has a link to Celsius, put us on. We'll make something happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, first episode, we are going to be talking about relationships today. Coming from a 17 and 18-year-old guy, you might think that's a little funny, but what I have learned over the years is that guys give really good relationship advice, but just can't take their own advice, which makes no sense. But you know, we have a couple things. We've had some experiences, and we're gonna share what we think. This is not real advice. What we think is the best way to handle some things.
Yeah. We are by no means professionals on this.
Not yet. Not even close.
Kyle's dated one girl and been interested in like 1,000. I am dating the best girl in the world right now, but I mean, I have no other experience other than that.
Yeah, we're still learning, but we're here to help along those who are a little further behind than us.
Just have some funny, interesting conversation.
Yeah, exactly,
about it.
and some serious points as well in there. You know, we have some good questions that we want to talk about.
Like we may not be like married husbands, but like, why would you not want to
Well, you
hear?
don't know that.
All right, at least not yet.
Yeah.
To
No,
the
I'm
best
talking
of
about
my
right now.
knowledge, we are not.
Yeah.
But
Nothing wrong with gay marriages either. Just putting that out there. Just kidding. That's a complete joke. Anyways, we're gonna give some background to why we're starting this podcast. For me personally, I've always enjoyed listening to people talk, have debates, talk about things that interest them, and just get some good conversations going. And for me and Joshua, you know, we've been best friends since 8th grade, and we've had a good combination of serious conversations and laughable moments. So just putting the two together makes for a good time. So
this idiot even left our school in 10th grade, and we still
still
remain great
managed
friends.
to stay friends over video games, which is great. You know, COVID does that to you. But yeah, we're here to just give some entertaining and funny moments to those who want to listen. And go ahead and start off with
make your 20-minute car ride a little bit more interesting.
yeah, exactly. We're gonna start off with the first question, and this is something. The reason I thought of this is because we have some really good family friends, and I have 2 siblings, and they have 3 kids, and we're all the same age. Their oldest is a girl, their middle is a boy, and their youngest is a girl, and that's the exact opposite of my family. And we've been great family friends with them, and our relationship with them is such that it's more like brother and sister. So, just asking that question, can you date your best friend?
That's an opposite gender, of course.
Yeah, obviously. But Josh, can you date your best friend?
I think. All right, so I have not had like a lifelong girl best friend like that, so I'm not speaking from experience here. But I kind of feel like, just like looking from the outside, what I think it would be like. I think it would be like you'd get to a point where you'd kind of just know that you were friends. But then, I mean, the issue with this, like the other part of the question is, if you don't date that best friend of the opposite gender, would it then be awkward? Like, could you?
Can you
What
keep
would
them
you
as a
do?
best
Would
friend?
you keep them as a friend to have another girlfriend slash
Yeah,
boyfriend?
can you have a best friend of the opposite gender that you know you're not dating and you know you're extremely close while still having a boyfriend or a girlfriend? That's which I think is tricky because I think you know the decisions you're gonna make, right? And if you know that you have this one best friend that's not gonna be that it is your brother sister, first you have to communicate that to the person you are dating. And I think if they're understanding about that and you can and that can go well, I think that's possible because you can't just cut off your relationship because then at that point you're choosing someone you've grown up with your entire life or the person that you love the most.
Yeah.
And I think that's just difficult.
That's where I don't know if I agree with you. I'd say 100% the person that you're dating should be your best friend. And I like wholeheartedly could say that, and my girlfriend would say that too. And I think that just having your relationship founded in your friendship, that you just genuinely enjoy being around each other all the time, like for all the laughs, for all the things that you would do just as friends, and then having the like relationship loving each other part built into that, it sets up like a really like long-term lasting healthy relationship. So then I think at least in high school, of course you can still have other friends of the opposite gender, but you would know that you care for each other in a different way than you care about those other friends.
Yeah. Truthfully, I think that what would be the best way to have it is if your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, becomes really good friends with that person who you were super close with, and they know, and they're really good friends. So you have like a triangle of two people in a relationship, but the person on the outside is still really good friends with both people. So it just works out well. You know, you trust each other, and like, and you know the person, and you know how the relationship is going. I think that's just probably the best way to have it.
You also, like, you don't want to like separate yourself from everyone else. Like, you still want to hang out with your other friend, be able to hang out with your other friends and your girlfriend or boyfriend at the same time. You don't want your other friends to feel uncomfortable around y'all, and you don't want to damage any previous friendships you had by entering in a relationship.
Yeah,
I think that's really important.
There's a time and a place for certain things, and there's also that you have to have the balance of maintaining your other friendships while having a relationship that means a lot to you, because there are going to be times that you're going to have to choose: do you hang out with the boys or do you hang out with your girlfriend? And I know it's a tough question, and for guys that have never been in a relationship, they're gonna probably be upset a couple times if you're not gonna hang out with them, and
Yeah,
understandably
it's a common saying around the guys, like
bros over
hoes.
Yeah, and it's understandable. But I think at the same time, once you have been in a relationship and you understand that your relationship should not be, it shouldn't be an idol in your life. It shouldn't be higher than
Shouldn't
anything
be overwhelming.
else. It shouldn't be overwhelming, but it should be more than your immediate friendships, right? Like, it should be, I would say, like, at least 8 out of 10 times that you have, maybe 7 out of the 10 times that you have the option to either go with the girl or your guy friends. I would take your girlfriend, probably, just because you've because your relationship with her is more important than in that moment. I don't. It really just depends, because if you made plans like 2 weeks in advance with your guy friends, and your girl's like the day of, hey, you want to hang out? Like, no, you get stick with your guy friends.
You need to have a balance, because
Yeah.
you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket and just like put everything into this girl and damage every other friendship that you have, because then you're just like stuck. Like, you need to have a balance of you need to still have your guy friends, and then put a lot of care and attention into your girlfriend.
Yeah, and if your guy friends are true friends, which I hope they are for the most part, for me and you, we know that our guy friends are true friends. They're gonna help you along that journey and be there for you and give you encouragement and everything like that. Like, they're gonna understand that, like, you have a relationship, and there are gonna be times where it's gonna be hard. You have to make decisions, and if they're true friends, they will support you in whatever decision you make. Even though there are times where you might have an argument or whatever. Like, they will support you, hopefully.
And you absolutely want to look to your guy friends for the advice that they have. I mean, you'll have a lot of guy friends that are basically like your brothers. I mean, at least that's how I've grown up in high school. I just have a group of friends that, I trust them like brothers. We hang out all the time, and I really care deeply about what they have to say. And that if they were telling me that, like, the girl I was dating was, like, not the one, that she just wasn't the right girl for me, I would really take that advice to heart. And so I wouldn't just ignore them. And I would recognize what they have to say, and then also take into account what I've heard from other people, and just really listen to people that I respect about what I'm doing. Because in the moment, you can get caught up with it. Being in love is an amazing thing, but it can also blind you to the outside world.
Yeah, it at the end of the day, it's really just about having a good balance and being able to make what you think is the right decision amongst a bunch of other decisions. But
I've also been on the other side of it, though, and the reason people say bros over hoes is because they love hanging out with your bros.
Yeah, exactly.
And, like, when you see a guy that you've hung out with and that's just always been there, and then they start going off with a girl, it does kind of hurt at first, because you're like, dang, I really, like, enjoyed your company. I really wanted to hang around with you. But then if you care about them you'll support them, and you'll encourage them, and you'll tell them when they're putting too much time into this girl, and when they need to, like, when they're not being a good friend to you.
Yeah.
And they'll listen if they care about you.
Yeah. You guys got guys who have seen this happen. You're not being replaced. Not at all. It's not your boy isn't thinking that his girlfriend is better than you are. Like, that's not at all what's happening. It's just that you get to the age where you're taking, like, certain steps, and you're like, all right, well, now you're about to go off to college. Like, you gotta start thinking about certain decisions. Not necessarily like just because you're going to college, you have to date someone. But like, there's these decisions that pop up, and it's sometimes hard. But at the end of the day, if you have brothers by your side, it'll be okay. They'll support you. They'll help you out. They'll give you the right advice whenever you need. But
And you got to be a good friend back to them too.
yeah, exactly. The other thing is,
The Bible. I don't know where in the Bible it says, but I know it's
what a good Christian.
common. That's really common verse. You need to be equally yoked in both your relationship with a girl or boy, if you're a girl, and with your other guy friends. Like you need to both be. You don't want one of you to be pulling the other one along. You want to each be putting the same amount of effort and time into the relationship or friendship.
Some of the best advice I heard is, if you're in your relationship with God, the girl's only right for you if she's beating you to him. So just keep that in mind, fellas. But
Wait, what? Say that again.
So like if you're like you're in a relationship with someone, right? Like if you're a Christian, God should be at the center of your life, not your girl, not sports, whatever. So then the girl should be either faster than you in her walk towards God, like she desires him as much as you, or more.
I don't think ever it should be as much. I think
always more. You think?
No. Oh wait, I said that wrong. I think it should always be the same.
Yeah.
You should be. Neither of you should be walking with God at a faster pace, and you should work together to keep it at the same pace, pursuing God together.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's like, I think in the long run, like at the end, like for people, I can't remember who asked me this question, but it was, do you date to date or do you date to marry? And I think if you and the girl you're talking with are deeply invested in your faith, then I think the question then becomes, well, if we both love God, we're both putting him at the center of our relationship, then I think we can move on past dating to date and towards dating to marry, because we both know that our walks are centered around the same thing. And I think that if you're centered around the right thing and your anchor is very, very solid, then you'll be able to get through the hard parts of life, hard decisions, whatever that may be. Because, for dating in high school, right, like, people have different opinions about this all the time. Like, there are people that are like, I don't think you should date ever in high school because you'll meet so many people in college or whatever. That's not necessarily true. You can have a good relationship in high school. There's a lot of things that just have to go right, and you make a lot of those decisions. Communication and honesty, you always hear people like, oh, communication is key, right? It's so true, because if you're not communicating with your parents, the person you're dating at that time, or even your brothers, like we mentioned, like, communication is so important for success in life and in your relationship. And being able to communicate about, like, first off the rip, I think that you shouldn't pursue any girl if your communication with her is affected because you believe in God, she doesn't, because then that makes it so a lot of guys are gonna be like, oh, I can convert her, I can push her towards God. That's not how that works.
Don't flirt to convert.
Yeah, do not. I've never heard that before, but I like that. That's just not how that works. You have to be invested in God first. She needs to be invested in God. That needs to be the center, and then from there you go.
So I want to go back to what you just said about the do you date to marry? Because I have a lot to say about that. I think 100% absolutely you need to date with the idea of marriage in mind. Obviously, if you're in high school, like, that is not an immediate thing that's going to happen. I mean, you literally,
that's far away.
That's
right?
just further away. So it's hard, and that's like, honestly, other than following God, that's the biggest decision you're going to make in your life. Yeah. So it seems daunting to be like, I'm only dating this girl because I have the idea of marrying her.
Yeah, and don't think that us saying this is telling you to like pursue marriage. That's not what we're saying.
You don't need to see yourself marrying her tomorrow.
Yeah,
but you need to see her being someone like that. As you get to know more, and like, as she gets to know you more, like, you shouldn't just date if you're not dating for the purpose of marriage,
why are you dating?
What are you dating for? You're dating for pleasure. You're dating
for clout or whatever.
You're dating for fun. Like, you're dating for social status. Like, there's only shallow,
not a real reason for you to date.
Reasons in mind.
And I think the other thing is, if you're in a relationship 6 to 8 months down the road and it's a serious relationship, it's going really well and it's really healthy, I think that should be considered. Like, all right, I've been with this person for 8 months. Can I see myself with them in 4 years? Can I see myself marrying them and, like, being with them forever?
If you start dating a girl and you're like, man, this is fun, but I couldn't see myself marrying this girl, as fun as it is, you need to stop.
Yeah,
like that is the biggest red flag you could possibly have.
Yeah, I think that like for me once I have a doubt of like if there's any hint of doubt in my mind, then it starts to be like, all right, do I really want to do this? And the thing is, when you have a doubt, it's not gonna leave. It's gonna keep nagging at you. And the problem is, you have a couple options. You either let's say you've been dating for 6 months and then you start to get some doubts. You either end the relationship, and you can do that either in a quick like, all right, we're done. Like I just and either make up a reason or give a blunt reason and then just be done, which I don't think you should do. Or you can postpone that and keep trying to push the doubt out of your head and go on another 3-4 months, and then she'll probably get more invested. You'll probably get closer, but at the same time, that doubt is growing in your mind, and you know that like I don't really want to do this. So I think what you have to do when you sense doubt is you have to go talk to someone. Go talk to your guy best friend, your parents, any youth leader or mentor that you have. Go talk to them, see what they have to say, because these people have, I mean, for the most part, married people know they've had this before. They know what's going on. But I think you need to be honest, have a good conversation, not over text, not even over call. Like you need to have a good, real conversation, and it's gonna hurt. But if you know that this isn't gonna work out, you need to confront them immediately. Because if you wait, then you're lying to yourself, you're lying to them, you're setting yourself up for failure, and it's gonna hurt a lot more. Like the reality is it's gonna hurt, but it's gonna hurt a lot less if you do it now when you sense the doubt, right? Like you see a weed in the ground, you pick it before all the other weeds grow. So you gotta
That's a good analogy.
You gotta make sure that you're cutting something off at the root before it gets bad.
Before it grows into a bigger problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well,
now let's talk about relationships now. Like let's talk about relationships. I know we just and like like what happens when you get in a relationship? You have specifically the first for things, right? Your first time holding your girl's hand, eventually your first hug, your first kiss, and then all those first, like how those first date exactly, like right, like all the sweaty palm moments you'll have, like because it's true, like it's gonna be, I think that's something to realize, it's gonna be awkward. Like, well, I'll go ahead and this is a funny story. So the first time when I was with the girl I was with at the time, we had our first kiss, and we knew it was coming, right? Like that's something that is coming. Like you can plan technically, but it's gonna happen. We knew it was gonna happen, and it was just, it was about as bad as you can get in the sense of like how awkward it was. We were in the car. I've told like one person the story. We were in the car. I was in the front seat, in the driver's seat. She got in the back.
Oh no!
So she's sitting diagonally behind me in the car, right?
Oh.
And I'm nervous. I know it's coming. She's nervous. She knows it's coming. I think she's nervous. I am just talking to talk. I will not shut up because I know the second I close my lips, it's over. And 5 minutes later, you know what? It just like, for some reason I turned around in my seat, looked at her, and then boom, it happened. It was awkward. It was like 4 or 5 seconds long. I'll never forget it. And it was just the awkwardness. It's gonna happen, right? Like, I not a pro kisser by no means, and I hope I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's just awkward, and it's gonna be weird the first time. But if you tell yours, because that, I mean, it can't be worse than mine, honestly.
All right, yeah. So mine is absolutely nothing compared to Kyle's. Basically, just neither of us knew what we were doing. We never kissed anyone before. See, like it's awkward. But like the more you get to know, you can get to know someone, like emotionally, spiritually, and then of course physically. And like when you've never done something before, when you do it for the first time, you don't know anything about how it works. So it's gonna be awkward, and you accept that. But if you truly care about each other, it's not
gonna matter to you.
I mean, it should matter some.
Not the awkwardness. If you really care about each other, I feel like it won't really. You're not gonna get mad that it was weird.
Like I'm gonna care about my girlfriend for a lot more than if like we're good at kissing the first time.
Yeah, I think that's another thing to realize is that in today's day and age, you see all these people are like, oh, looks over personality, like body type, physique, all that stuff. You know, like no one really cares about like personality anymore. No one cares about like if she's a Christian or if she's not religious or anything like that. Like that's all something that actually matters a whole ton, because at the end of the day, like we said, are you dating to marry or dating to date? And if you're dating to marry and you truly love this person, it will not matter to you what if she's a good kisser or if he's a good kisser or something like that. That shouldn't matter to you, because you're not going to be spending all that much time. The grand scheme of things, if you're married for 50 years, like how much more time are you going to be having conversations and getting to know the person versus kissing them?
It still is.
Like it matters,
I get
but
what
like
you're
it's
saying.
not
like it still is a really special thing, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm
like,
just saying, like it doesn't, like you shouldn't not love the person because they're a bad kisser. You know?
Yeah, I mean, also like practice makes perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll
like,
figure that out, and like intimacy with your significant other, whatever person you're dating, it's very special. Like you should only do it with that person. It should be something that only you two share together.
You got to be careful how you do things, because at the we had a Bible study a few weeks ago, probably more like a couple months ago, and our Bible study leader, very extremely wise person, love him. He was saying, he's like, you know, do you want to do stuff with your girlfriend or guy or boyfriend? Do you want to do stuff with them that you will not tell your future kids? And that struck me, because I'm like, well, first of all, there's a chance that they might not be the parent of my future kids. And if that's not the case, then it's like, all right, well, what did I do with this person when I was 18? And then then you see them, you're like, they're a mom. They have a husband. Then you got to think about those things, right? Like the person you're with is
that you treated
women,
her
right?
or
Yeah,
him
like
with the utmost respect.
Like you got to realize this person is a son or daughter, is a brother or sister, will be a mom or dad. Like there's a lot of things that you have to realize, and it's like you're not just doing it to protect them, you're doing it for yourself. Like do you want to get to college having slept around with 10 people? Like if that's the case, then I mean I really hope it's not for most people, but that hurts, because then it takes something that is really good and it makes it contorted into something that's like
Corrupts it.
It just makes it so that it's something that you're doing just because, like you're not doing it because you truly love a person. You're just doing it because you want to have a one night stand or because you're drunk or something like that. And it's just there's a lot of decisions you have to make based off of, and it's hard, right? To be honest, it really is hard to resist these temptations. But you know, at the end of the day, it's like, are you really gonna take 10 minutes for something that's gonna be great in the moment, but then 5 years from now you're gonna be like, I hate myself because I did this. Yeah. You won't be able to look at the person the same, and it's difficult. It really is difficult, because I don't want to. If you end up at a church in 20 years and you have your kids, and then you see a girl that you dated in high school, you did all these things with, like, dang, like those memories don't go away. You don't just forget that. Like every time you'll see her, you're gonna be like, dang, like, it's gonna be hard. So you just gotta make decisions that are right in the moment and right for the for
the future.
For the future, yeah.
All right, well, here I have a question for you, and it's not necessarily like directly related to relationships, but it's about something you said, talking about looks versus personality.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to a podcast the other day, and he was talking about fitness.
Yeah.
And like being at the gym and stuff. He was arguing that you shouldn't go to the gym just to look better, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
But I go to the gym, and I like being healthy. I'm
absolutely.
a competitive swimmer. I work out a lot.
Yep.
I love going to the gym. Quite honestly, I do like trying to look better at the gym. He was saying that he took it so far that he was saying, like, you shouldn't even work out in front of mirrors to look at yourself.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
So, I think the first thing that comes to mind when you say working out for looks is working out is good. It really is good. And it doesn't mean you have to go to the gym and bench and squat 5 days a week. That's not what it means. You can work out in various ways. At-home workouts, cardio, like whatever. But the thing that comes to mind is, I don't know the reference, but your body is a temple of the Lord. So what does that mean? That doesn't mean that you're working out so you can go to the beach and you can attract as many girls in the area as you can. That's not what that means. it means that you want to have the best version of yourself. And if that means that if you're a huge fitness guy and you want to be as strong as you can be, do it. But like at the same time, like when I go to the gym, I catch myself like I'm doing weights. I'm looking in the mirror at myself. I'm like, okay, like I like. I'm proud. Yeah, I'm proud of what I'm putting in and what I'm getting out of that. And I think it like, you know, but like, I guess here's what I'll ask. Would you still work out if you knew that you're going to be as healthy as you were and it's going to help your body, but it wouldn't change any looks of yours? Like, no, you could not tell that you're not going to be fat or anything like that, but you just couldn't tell. Like, you're not going to have those looks and the attributes to your body that you're going to have normally.
Because there's a whole lot of things that working out can teach you aside from just looking better. It teaches you discipline. It teaches you how to like just work your butt off to set a goal and to achieve that goal.
Yep.
And so it's very far from all being, I want to go to the gym because I want to look better because I want to attract girls.
I think looking better is a thing that is a good thing that can come out of that, but I don't think that should be the sole purpose. That should be like purpose number 4 or 5 on the list. I would say.
Because I don't know if I would take it as far as that podcast I listened to the other day saying like you shouldn't even look in a mirror at all.
Yeah, like I'm gonna.
But you
look
need to not idolize the purpose of going to the gym.
Like you gotta like think about this. Like you're going to the gym because you're actually doing something, right? Like you're actually going to the gym because you're going to. Your job requires you to do a lot of movement, like moving and stuff, and you want to be able to pick heavy things up with ease. Like you're not just going to the gym to just look good, you know? Like you're not. People don't just go to the gym so they can. People shouldn't go to the gym just so they bust out their shirt, you know? Like that's not. I don't think that's the greatest idea. I don't think that's great motivation. I think that that's an added bonus if you work hard. But I think that there are 3 or 4 things that come before your looks when you work out, you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, just an interesting question I thought I'd bring up.
Yeah. And I think that the same way with, like, I know I mentioned how people are putting looks in today's world, like, at the forefront of what you look for in a boyfriend or girlfriend. And I think that I want to ask you this question. Do the looks matter in a relationship? Like, do they?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think they do. I think that.
All right, here, I'll throw that question right back at you. What percentage do you think looks should be compared to personality?
I'll say this. I'm not going to. I don't want to sound rude saying this. This is just me. I'm not going to go for a person I'd find not attractive, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to ask out someone who I find attractive. And if I find someone attractive and know that they have a terrible personality, then I won't ask them out, right? But I'm not going to ask someone out that I don't think is attractive.
Yeah, you should be physically attractive.
You should be, because I think that is something that is, because you like in like even the Bible, like sex is something that's super important, and I think that's the only way to be able to have that is if you're physically attracted to someone. Like you can't have good sex if you have a good personality. Like that might seem funny, but like it's just true. Like you can't. It's physical attraction for that sort of thing, and I think that I would say probably it's 60-40. I would say 40% physical, maybe 50-50.
I say 65-35.
Yeah, so yeah. I would say 60-40 is probably around 60-40 in that range is pretty good, because I mean you're doing. I get like. There's a lot that you're going to be doing together. There's a lot, like, in both ways. So I just think that there should be a good balance. Like, I don't think it should be 80-20 is, I think, a little too much. But at the same time, like, if you truly love a person, and another guy, and, like, if you truly love a person and people might rate them a 6 or a 7 out of 10, but you find them attractive, okay. Like, that's not bad, you know? Like, you gotta, if you really love them, and you think they look attractive and they have a good personality, then that's good, right? Just like keep the things that you know should be centered at the center of your relationship, and pray a lot, communicate a lot, get advice from other people, and I think that you should be good, you know?
Yeah.
Well, that should do it for the first episode. Thank you for listening. We hope that you will come back and listen to the other episodes. The next one I think we're planning to drop is a sports one. But I hope we just were able to give you some insight onto to what we think relationships should be. Again, like we said in the beginning, we are not experts. We're going off of experience and experience only, and you know, a couple of biblical things. But I think that also next episodes will be a lot more laughs. We wanted to get a serious one going, but
Yeah,
you
I mean,
know.
this podcast will be a good combination of some hilarious stories like Kyle's most awkward first kiss
Yep,
ever,
yep.
and then some serious topics like we'll be citing the Bible a lot. We're both strong Christians.
Yep, we'll bring on interviews. We have a list of like 10 people right now for interviews. So if you want to get interviewed, reach out to us, get your spot locked in, and yeah, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time on 2 Minute and Mike.